Shalaki Israel. Let's get back to this Hasmonean Dynasty, though, because I don't want to get off the point. The Romans just continued what the Greeks started, right? So as the Edomites that participated and called themselves Romans, the Edomites that called themselves Greeks, Spanish, French, don't make no difference. They all finna pay. Now let's get to. I'm trying to get back to. Let's go back to Josephus, and then we're gonna get into the Maccabees, Salakia. I'm trying to get to the second Jewish war. Hold up, Shalak, let me just read this on Josephus. He was a historian who was an Israelite. I just get it. Joseph ben Matayahu was a Roman, meaning Flavius Josephus, was a Roman Jewish historian and military leader. Best known for writing The Jewish War. You know that wasn't the original title, most likely, because we not Jewish, we are the Jews, the Israelites. He was born in Jerusalem, then part of the Roman province of Judea. Remember, they occupied us. Just like how the Israelis occupying the land right now, they got the Palestinians in it. To a father of priestly descent and a mother who claimed royal ancestry. Like I said before, we priests and kings. But they made us to be like we was nothing. Let's see if they can get to the second one. So during the first, we'll just call it how they say it, the Jewish War. They killed over 1.1 million, enslaved over 97,000. We just read that. Yeah, I suggest you guys look into this because this is a nice little read. I'm trying to get to the second one though. Bear with me, Israel. I might just have to type it in. Let me see something. The Jewish War, Jewish-Roman War. Let's click on there. Jewish-Roman Wars. The diaspora, right? Look at this. Now, I want you to look at this map, if you can see that, right? The Jewish diaspora, dispersion, or exile is the dispersion of Israelites or Jews out of their ancient ancestral homeland and their subsequent settlement in other parts of the globe. Now, that's called being scattered to the four corners of the earth. And I don't understand how you would not understand this, Israel, that when you get scattered, generations go by, and if you are not reminded of your history, you're going to forget it. So we've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, as it is written in the scriptures. Okay, this is the second one right here, right? Oh, that's all. Okay, this is a little timeline, right? So look. Just like when you read in the New Testament, when they say they go to let me just get some examples. Shalaki. So when you read the book of Galatians, Corinthians, right? They speaking to those regions, but they talking about the Jews who resided in those regions. Because if you look at this, not only were we chased out of Israel in 70 AD, all the surrounding areas where I can just read it. Where the Israelites resided, they got chased out of those regions. Let me see the commanders and the leaders. I say the strength, casualties, and losses. Okay, so they don't show what region it was, but the other one did. Salakia. Roman Empire. Okay, here it is right here. So we got chased out of not only Israel, we got chased out of Egypt too. Right? We got chased out of Egypt, Cyprus, Cyrenaica, and Mesopotamia region. Where was that? Syria, where Antioch was. Well, I think Antioch might be where the modern day Turkey is now. So we got chased out of all those spots, right? Casualties and losses. So it was 1,356,460 civilians and militia killed, perhaps hundreds of thousands of non-Jewish civilians. That's because some of the Edomites tried to fight with us. They fought on our side, mostly trapped visitors, right? So just like the non-Jewish civilians that was mostly trapped was those whoever was over there visiting the area at that time, or just like modern day times, you could say, just like how over in the Gaza Strip right now, the media, they probably got like maybe over 500 losses. Over 500 journalists been killed since last year, since October the 7th. Right? Then we had the Keto's War, right? 200,000 Jews, annihilation of Jewish communities in Cyprus, Cyrenaica, and Alexandria, right? And then the Bar Kokhba revolt, 580,000 killed, that's Israelites. 985 Jewish, Shalakia, meaning spots where the Jews resided, strongholds, and villages destroyed. Now, what do that make you think of? So let's get out of this. Because I'm finna start reading out of the book of Maccabees. Right? Let's pull this up. Hold on, let me see if I got it over here. Right? So they came through and destroyed and man, try to do that. Nope, I don't want to do that. What the fuck? Right? They came through and destroyed 985 villages. Oh, let me see something. Nah. I don't know what the fuck. Cancel. I want to leave the site. Slacky is right here. What the fuck? Hold on. Nah. I don't know why this is up here. Yeah, I want you to share my screen. Oh, okay. Right? List of race riots and massacres in the United States. And you know who they was massacring, right? Let's just read a little bit of this before we get into the Maccabees. Racial violence is woven throughout the fabric. Shilaki. What the fuck is going on over here? Shilaki. Racial violence is woven throughout the fabric of the history of the United States. In the centuries following the initial colonization of North America, racial and ethnic minorities, especially African American and indigenous people, meaning members of the 12 tribes, have repeatedly been targeted by white people, just as it was I just read when the Greeks and Romans took over the known earth. And when we were over in the land of Israel, Yahweh Shah Mashiach had to come on the scene to give our people hope, right? But yet, the modern day black Christian don't seem to accept that. Probably because they the ones who's Hellenized. Have repeatedly been targeted by white people, often as part of organized actions undertaken by white supremacist groups. Violent race riots often devolved into massacres, though in some instances, mass death was intended from the outset. Just like the mass death they created when they was in the Eastern Hemisphere, As in many of the military massacres of Native Americans. Gad, Reuben. Since the 1900s, there have also been a number of protests and riots led by African Americans in response to police brutality and continued inequality and discrimination. The following is a list of some of the major incidents of racially motivated violence in U.S. history. You can click on any of these. Look at this. New York City Draft Riot, 1863. The Fort Pillow Massacre. Let me see something about that. Let's read a little bit about that. For the slaughter surrendering African American fellow Jews in Tennessee. The Sand Creek Massacre, the Memphis Massacre, New Orleans Massacre, Camp Grant Massacre, the Los Angeles Chinese Massacre. They got the Moabites too, huh? You get the point. So on and so on. Let's get back to, because like I said, we can go ahead and I'll put this up. Because like I said, I'm finna be reading about the Good News Translation of Israel, but I couldn't get it on my laptop. Right? So, what we're gonna focus on this lesson was the treatment that we got when the Greeks took over, right? But I just thought out with this I ain't read no scripture. Let me get to this. Let's just do this. Let's go to Daniel. We'll start off by going to Daniel so we can get this established. Go to the book of Daniel. All right. Let's go to the 4th chapter. Shalaki. I'm going to start off with Daniel 4:17. Right? Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men. The Most High power gave is the one who sets up kingdoms on earth. We know that the Edomites' blessing is the sword. So when they finally took over the known earth under Alexander the Great, let's get into it. This history, okay, again, Shalaki, I'm reading about it in a Good News Translation. First Maccabees 1:1. This history begins when Alexander the Great, son of Philip of Macedonia, marched from Macedonia and attacked Darius, king of Persia and Media. Alexander enlarged the Greek Empire by defeating Darius and seizing his throne. Right? So the Medo-Persian Empire comes to an end, and now the Greek Empire, the Lord has set up the Greek Empire to rule on earth. It's mentioned in the book of Daniel. He fought many battles, captured fortified cities, and put kings of the region to death. I'm going to drop down now. First Maccabees 1:5. When Alexander had been emperor for 12 years, he fell ill and realized that he was about to die. He called together his generals, noblemen who had been brought up with him since his early childhood. And we can all know they was all Edomites too. And he divided his empire, giving a realm, giving a part to each of them. After his death, the generals took control. And each had himself crowned king of his own territory. The descendants of these kings ruled for many generations and brought a great deal of misery on the world. Now let me just get out of this and go right to the 1611 version of Apocrypha. Salaki. So it sounds better when you read it like this. Right? First Maccabees 1:9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year in the kingdom of the Greeks. So 173. All right, now let's get back to the Good News translation. 137. Right. So I'll read Maccabees 1:10 again in the Good News translation. The wicked ruler Antiochus Epiphanes, son of King Antiochus III of Syria, was a descendant of one of Alexander's generals, Antiochus Epiphanes. Was a descendant of one of Alexander's generals. Antiochus Epiphanes had been a hostage in Rome before he became king of Syria in the year 137. At that time, there appeared in the land of Israel a group of traitorous Jews, members of the 2/3, who had no regard for the law and who had a bad influence on many of our people. They said, let's come to terms with the Gentiles, for our refusal to associate with them has brought us nothing but trouble. So you had a group of Israelites, same spirit that's on some 2/3 of these Israelites today, who refuse. Like I said, they had no regard for the law. That was the law for who? The Israelites, given to Moses by the Most High Power, right? So they said they didn't. So when the Greeks took over, I'm just gonna use modern day names. The Black Boule, wicked men in our nation like Creflo Dollar, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther the King, right? This proposal appealed to many people like them, and some of them became so enthusiastic about it that they went to the king and received from him permission to follow Gentile customs, which we was not supposed to do, right? They built in Jerusalem a stadium like those in the Greek cities. Look at America today. They got stadiums too, don't they? This ain't nothing but Rome 2.0, the Greco-Roman Empire 2.0. They had surgery performed to hide their circumcision, abandoned the Holy Covenant, started associating with Gentiles, and did all sorts of other evil things. Right? That's the wicked 2/3 back then. You got the same wicked 2/3 now doing the same shit in America. Instead of saying they Hellenized, we just say we Americanized. Right? Now, let's jump over to the 3rd chapter of Maccabees. Because Mattathias revolted. Mattathias and his sons, that's how you got the Maccabees. That's how they became known as the Maccabees. They revolted. They said they was not, hold on, I'll let them say it. I'll read it. Let's go to, now we're in the 2nd chapter. During that time, a priest of Jehoiarib family named Mattathias, who was the son of John and the grandson of Simeon, moved from Jerusalem and settled in Modian. Mattathias had 5 sons. John, also called Gaddi, Simon, also called Thassi, Judas, also called Maccabeus, so that's where you got the Maccabees from, right? Eleazar, also called Avaron, and Jonathan, also called Apis. When Mattathias saw all the sins that were being committed in Judea and Jerusalem, he said, why was I born to see these terrible things? The ruin of my people and of the holy city. Must I sit here helpless while the city is surrendered to enemies and the temple falls into the hands of foreigners? Let me drop down to 10. Listen to this, Israel. Every nation in the world has occupied the city and robbed her of her possessions. Starting in when? 312 BC. When the Edomites did it now. Now remember, the Assyrians came through first, the Babylonians, the Medo-Persian Empire, and now we're in the Greek rule. So this is the 4th empire from when we got established coming out of the land of Egypt. A major empire that had their hands, like I just read, every nation in the world has occupied the city and robbed of her possessions. All her ornaments have been stripped away. She is now a slave, no longer free. Why did these things come upon us? Because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Power. And let's jump over to 3. So now, right, Mattathias and his sons rebelled against the Greeks and didn't want to adhere to their customs like the 2/3 of our Israelites did. They wanted to join in with them. Judas Maccabees held on to the law, statutes, commandments of our forefathers, right? Mattathias. So he passed and Judas took over. So we get to the 3rd chapter, right? I'll just read the first one. Judas Maccabees took the place of his father Mattathias, because Mattathias had just passed. Judas hunted down those, 2nd Maccabees, 3rd Maccabees, 3 and 5. Judas hunted down those who broke the law and set fire to all who oppressed his people. Right? I'm going to jump down to 8. He went through the towns of Judea and destroyed all the godless men. He relieved Israel of his terrible suffering. Because what was going on? They was going through killing people. Right? The Greeks was. If you didn't want to go by what they were talking about, they'd get rid of your ass. They eliminate you. Now, let me jump down to 19. Because they was about to go to battle. And Judas had to give his man a speech, words of encouragement, right? I'm going to jump down to 19. 1 Maccabees 3 and 19. Victory in battle does not depend on who has the largest army. It's the Lord's power that determines the outcome. Our enemies are coming against us with great violence, intending to plunder our possessions and kill our wives and children. But we are fighting for our lives and for our religion. When we attack, the Lord will crush our enemies, so don't be afraid of them. All right? So that's what's going on during this time period in history. When the Greeks took over, they forced you. You see what they're going to do? They was going to plunder your land, take your possessions, kill you, your wives, and your children. Right? So, he got to fucking up and rebelling against them Greeks. So King Antiochus appointed Lysias to be his governor, right? Let's get down to 35. First Maccabees 3 and 35. Lysias was, hold on, did I tell you, so he was appointed the governor, right? Antiochus appointed him governor. So hold up, I'll just read it. Let me jump back up to 3. First Maccabees 3 and 27. I'll start at 26. His fame, meaning Judas Maccabees, his fame reached the ears of King Antiochus, and people in every nation talked about Judas and his victories. When Antiochus heard what had happened, he was furious. He ordered all the armies of his empire to assemble in a huge force. So, he appointed Lysias, an important, jump down to 32, 3 and 32. He appointed Lysias, an important man who had been granted the title relative of the king, as governor to take care of the king's affairs in the whole territory between the Euphrates River and the Egyptian River. 3 and 35. Lysias was ordered to send an army against the Jews, especially the Jews in Jerusalem. You might as well say niggas. To break their power and destroy them, so that no trace of them would remain. He was ordered to take their land, here go the point, he was ordered to take their land and give it to foreigners who would settle the whole area. Now, 2025 did not Nero Trump say that they was going to move 2.1 million Palestinians from the Gaza Strip and displace them. That's called scattering people. Let's continue. Let's jump down to 41. 3 and 41. A force from Idumea and Philistia joined them. And ain't that ironic? Because right now, currently, the Idumeans occupy the land along with the Palestinians. The merchants of the region heard about the strength of the army, and they came to the camp with chains and a large amount of money, hoping to buy some Jewish slaves. Now, why haven't the current modern day Jewish people ever bought out the history of all the times they went into slavery? Because as you read the scriptures, they was in slavery several times, right? We was in slavery. They was in slavery under the Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, and the Romans. So there's 6 different nations that had them under, or 6 different instances that they had them under slavery. The Jewish people, you know, Netanyahu now, fucking lies. It was us. Just like we the last known nation to be under slavery, right? In modern history. Let's continue. Okay, that's all we need from that. Now, what else I need out of what's called fake treaties they always do. Like they read in the book, they truce breakers, right? So they Hellenized us for 150 years. A generation is 40. So that's 3 to 4 generations of brutality that we undertook from these Edomites. And like I say, through the first and second Jewish wars, the wars with the Jews and Romans, I say it like that. Because they say that they titled it Jewish when it was the Jews. The Israelites. They should have said Israelite wars with the Romans. Or they could have said black versus white. Just the modern day term they use now. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And let's go to the second Maccabees. He explains it way better, right? To let you know that ain't nothing changed. Wasn't no salvation open up to no other nation, because ain't no other nation got treated just like us, right? See, I got a lot of stuff wrote down. Israel, Salaki. Now, let's start off with second Maccabees, right? To let you know ain't nothing changed. A letter to the Jews in Egypt, because remember, they say that, right? They got chased out of Egypt, Cyprus, right, and Mesopotamia. Right? They chased us out the region, right? From the Jews of Jerusalem and Judea to those in Egypt, warm greetings. Now, what that sound for me? Let's go to the book of Acts right quick. Yes, what I meant Acts. Let me see something. Now, let me just get an example. We'll go to the book of Acts 2 and 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. All right? And I'm going to jump down to 9. Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia, in Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes. Now, all these areas, what I just read, all these little names of cities, right? We just saw it. They went around killing us in all those regions. We were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, Israel. Can y'all not understand that? 1/3 do, the elect do. But 2/3, I don't understand what y'all thinking. Right? Your conscience has been seared with a hot iron. All of these places went from Acts 2:9 to 2:10, and we're reading it right now in Maccabees. We were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And wherever we was at, they chased and came and got us. The first Jewish wars, second wars. I'm going to say Jews. I'm tired of saying, I can't really say that Jewish. Salaki. But you get what I'm saying, right? And let me continue in Maccabees. The second book of Maccabees, 1. From the Jews of Jerusalem and Judea to those in Egypt, warm greetings. May the Most High, this is Shalak, and I just thinking this. You can say the same greeting to the Jews in America, meaning the Israelites that are in America. Because we all heard now, the northern and southern kingdom. Right? I'm starting at point 1 and 2. May the Most High power be good to you and keep the covenant he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his faithful servants. May he fill each of you with the desire to worship him and to do his will eagerly with all your heart and soul. May he enable you to understand his law and his commands. May he give you peace. Answer your prayers, forgive your sins, and never abandon you in times of trouble. Right? That's a prayer that can be, or a greeting that can be said over here in America. Let me drop down. Right? So Nehemiah made a prayer, right? And you can read the book of Nehemiah. Nehemiah's prayer. Second Maccabees 1 to 24. I started 24. 1 to 24. Nehemiah's prayer went something like this. Lord, Yahweh, the Most High Power, creator of all things, you are awesome and strong, yet merciful and just. You alone are king. No one but you is kind. And if I'm not mistaken, Nehemiah was part of the second restoration when they tried to restore the temple after the Babylonians had burned it down, right? The Medo-Persian Empire allowed us to go back and rebuild it. 1 to 25. No one but you is gracious and just. You are almighty and eternal, forever ready to rescue Israel from trouble. You chose our ancestors to be your own special people. Accept this sacrifice which we offer on behalf of all Israel. Protect your chosen people and make us holy. Chosen, here it is again. He only chose us. What's that? Amos 3 and 6. Here go the point. 1 to 27. Free those who are slaves in foreign lands and gather together our scattered people. Have mercy on our people who are mistreated and despised, so that all other nations will know that you are our power. He our power. And guess what he finna demonstrate now in the very near future? He finna send his son, Yahweh Mashiach, the one whom you ignorantly call Jesus. He finna come back and save us from who? Our enemies and those who hate us. We just read it in the book of Luke. And hold on. Let's go to 28. Punish the brutal and arrogant people who have oppressed us. Who oppressed us over here in America? Who oppressing us right now? Nero, Trump, and his people. Just like Antiochus Epiphanes and his people did it when the Greeks took over. Like Herod the Great did when the Romans took over. All Edomites. Oppressing who? The Israelites. The niggas. Same as they do now. But yet, you got 2/3 niggas that say they homeborn slaves. They love being oppressed by the white man. They love his laws, statutes, and commandments. Wicked ass laws. A man can lay with a man. A man can lay with animals. They would rather participate in a world like that, full of pure evil, and evils were multiplied on earth. Fucking wicked ass, and y'all don't think the Lord ain't finna come and destroy these Yeah, we finna find out. Let's see. What else did I have? Oh, let me see something. There was several wicked men in our own nation that's gonna pay. They back on earth, getting judgment from the Lord. Let's see. Let's jump over to 4. I ain't gonna make this long, right here, because we've been going. So yeah, you got to read this for yourself. I suggest you get the Good News Translation. It might be an easier read for you when you're reading the Apocrypha. Let's jump down to 4 and 35. Second Maccabees 4 and 35. This is after the time when Onias got killed. The Jews and Gentiles were very angry because Onias had been murdered. He was a righteous man, a righteous Israelite, right? So when the king returned from the territory of Sicilia, the Jews of Antioch, ain't that nothing. That's why I read this. It was already Jews in Antioch. This is before the time of Hamashiach being on earth, right? It's before the time of Romans taking over. Before the book of Acts, right? The Jews of Antioch. We just read it right there in Acts 2. We can say 2 and 5 through 10. No, the first 1 through 10. I just say it like that. 1 through 11. Right? We had already been established. That's why they was calling them Gentiles when Yahushua was walking on earth. Because by that time, it's over 150 years, right? So it's over 150 years, going on like 175 years of us being oppressed and them trying to strip us of our culture, or kill us, beat it out of us, however they try to do it, torture us, right? But we was already established in those regions, as you can read in 2 Maccabees 4:36. So when the king returned from the territory of Sicilia, the Jews of Antioch went to him and protested against this senseless killing. Many Gentiles, like many other people of other nations, felt the same way about the crime. King Antiochus himself, even the Edomite, was deeply grieved. I'm going to read 4:37. King Antiochus was deeply grieved and was so filled with sorrow that he was moved to tears when he recalled the wisdom and self-control that Onias had shown throughout his life. Antiochus became so angry that he tore off Andronicus' royal robe, stripped him naked, and marched him around the city to the very spot where Onias had been murdered. Then Antiochus had this bloodthirsty murderer put to death. This is how the Lord gave him the punishment he deserved. He judged his ass right there in that lifetime. Right, so you get the point. We was already established in our other regions, like Alexandria, Egypt, even before the Greeks took over. Now, they brutally killed us. We'll just get a couple more examples out of the Apocrypha, and then we'll go to, we'll close it out. Israel, I ain't trying to make this long. So the spirit of Antiochus toward the Israelites, it's in these Edomites to this day. Today it's an Edomite walking around with the spirit of Antiochus Epiphanes on him. Just like we got men of Israel walking around with the spirit of, let's see. Jason, his brother, hold on, Shalaki. Like Jason, the high priest. Let me get it. It said right here. In the fourth, let's go to 2 Maccabees 4:7. We're going to talk about an Israelite real quick, a wicked Israelite. The spirit of Jason is back on earth too. Later, when King Seleucus died and Antiochus, known as Epiphanes, became king, Jason, the brother of Onias, became high priest by corrupt means. Right? He bribed the people, knowing he's supposed to do that. That's against the law with us. He went to see the king and offered him 27,000 pounds of silver, with 6,000 more pounds to be paid later, right? Jason also offered him an additional 11,250 pounds of silver for the authority to establish a stadium where young men could train and to enroll the people of Jerusalem as citizens of Antioch, right? So just like how Paul was an Israelite, but he was also a citizen of Rome, they already been doing the same. They had already been doing it, right? Because in Antioch, they had dual citizenship. The king, so look, today, Jason, you might well say he the father of the Israelites being athletic, being athletes, from the football players to Saquon Barkley's to the LeBron Jameses. All because, why? We wanted to be like the Greeks. The king gave his approval, and just as soon as Jason took over the office of high priest, he made the people of Jerusalem change to the Greek way of life. Just like saying, we were slaves brought to America, Then they made the slaves change to the American way of life, as it is to this day. He began by abolishing the favors that John had secured for the Jews from previous Syrian kings. John was the father of, I don't know, mess this name up, Eupolemus, who later went to Rome to make an alliance and to establish ties of friendship. Jason also did away with the Jews' customs and introduced new customs that were contrary to our law. Like what? The dietary laws. It's against the law to eat pork. Now, Jason said, yo, no, you can eat pork. It's against the law to eat duck. You can eat duck. With great enthusiasm, he built a stadium in the Temple Hill and led our finest young men to adopt the Greek customs of participating in athletic events. That's why you see us now whooping everybody's ass in all athletic events. Why? Because we chose the people of the Lord. We special. Because of the unrivaled wickedness of Jason, that ungodly and illegitimate high priest, the craze for the Greek way of life and for foreign customs reached such a point. We can say that now to this day. The craze for the American way of life and for all the other foreigners' way of life, the Israelites have adopted. Look at us now. The only thing you want to be is what the females want to be like Lotto and Sexy Red, Glorilla, or an actress like Gabrielle Union. All these bitches is witches. Or they want to be an athlete like Saquon, LeBron, a rapper like Rick Ross, or what's the new nigga? They have so many funny ass names now, I don't even know. YGFN Duck, whatever the fuck these niggas' names is nowadays. Shalaki is right here. But whatever, it's an Americanized way of living. Fairies. Rebelling against the Lord. Right? Let's jump down to 15. Talking about us, the Israelites. They did not care about anything their ancestors had value. They prized only Greek honors. And this turned out to be the source of all their troubles. For the very people whose ways they admired and whose customs they tried to imitate became their enemies and oppressed them. Is that not true for today? Do these niggas not try to imitate these other nations? The Edomites, the modern day white man, the Chinese, the Arabs. Right? The very people who customs y'all admire, they oppressing y'all. And y'all cool with that. 2/3 wicked niggas. Shalaki. Now, Jason was wicked, but his motherfucking brother, not his brother, but Linus, the brother of Simon, he was even more wicked. And it just went down from there, just like saying T.D. Jakes influenced the people, then Creflo Dollar. Right? Now you got Big Meech, he out of jail influencing these niggas to be wicked, continue to be wicked. Right? They are finna face judgment from the Lord. So, these Edomites, modern day Edomites, Shalaki, the modern day white man got a lot to pay for, right? Just like 2/3. So we'll get a couple more scriptures and then we'll get out of here. Because the same thing that's taking place right now on earth with the Jewish people going to war with the Palestinians and pushing them out that land, same thing occurred when we was over in the land. When the Greeks took over the known earth, right? They just called it, the reason why we over here now, they call it manifest destiny, right? Colonialism. They flip-flop people over the earth. That's how you get displaced. That's how you get scattered abroad. Let me see. I had some. Oh. And as we speak today, since 2023, 10 million people have been displaced from Sudan. Right? And right now, over in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, 110,000 people displaced within this year. So as you can see, what they call migration, diaspora, however you want to see it, exile, you can get moved about four corners of the earth, just as our nation was. And over time, we lost our identity. That's why they call Gentiles, right? But as you can see, we read it in the Maccabees. We had already been established in those places. So when the book of Acts, when the Roman took over, and we get to the book of Acts, and he named these people, the Parthians and the Medes, these were all Israelites living in those regions. Scattered. That's who it was meant for. So when they say Romans, the book of Romans, he ain't talking to the average Roman citizen. He talking to the niggas that lived in Rome, to the Jews that lived in Rome. If you can't get that, it ain't for you. Now, you see what the Seleucid Empire did, the Ptolemaic Empire did, the American Empire did to our people. Now let's see what the Lord gonna do to them for what they did to us. Let's get some future prophecies. Let's go to the book of Job. This is our history book, people. Let me see, Job 3. Let's see what happened. Bing. Job, the third chapter. What's the title say? The nations will be judged. Like. Right? This for the future. Hey, look, they acting like Trump finna get a deal going between Russia and Ukraine, right? So they saying, look, we avoided, he done came and made peace. We finna avoid World War III. That ain't where World War III coming from. Let me see what the Lord say. Joel 3:1, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Man, he gonna end our captivity. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. We just read that in the Apocrypha, right? Move them out the land, bring foreigners in, right? And have cast lots for my people, right? And have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink. We just read it in the Maccabees. We've seen it in history. 97,000 slaves taken. And that was during the time of the Romans. So ain't no telling what that count was when the Greeks took over and took us into captivity, right? Right? So like right there in the fourth verse, he's talking about the Hamites. They plundered if you read the Maccabees, they was going around plundering our treasuries in the temples, right? The fifth verse, because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things, the children of Judah, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. We just read all that. And you've seen historical accounts. When you go on Wikipedia and type in the Hasmonean Dynasty. Right? Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yahweh hath spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. The Most High power is finna get vengeance on all our enemies. The main enemy, number one enemy, being who? The Edomites, the modern day white man. Right? Let's continue. Beat your plowshares and the swords, and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. Now, all them Arabian nations, they gearing up. Right? Like in reading Revelation. He drying up the Euphrates River to make way for the kings of the East. There's finna be some going on over there in what they call the modern day Middle East. Israel, them Israelis. They should be drawing, they gonna draw America into this war. You see how it's going? He said they got about a more to get all them hostages back, or it's just gonna be hell. What more can you do to them? You done already bombed all they shit. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So all them nations that's around there now, the Palestinians, them Edomites, them Amalekites that's going around saying they Jewish, all the Ishmaelites that's around there, the Edomites, the Moabites, anybody around, y'all finna get it. For us. That's all we need out of that. Now, when I just was reading that, let me just get you one example of how the Lord get down. Shalaki. I feel that I didn't make this longer than what it is, Israel. Let me see if I can find it. Let me get the account of when the Lord had to rough up Ferris. Fucked him up. Hey. Let me give you an account of Antiochus' attacks on Jerusalem, right? Because like we read, the total number from them wars, that was when with the Romans. Antiochus attacks Jerusalem. Second Maccabees 5 and 11. When the news of what had happened in Jerusalem reached Antiochus, he thought the whole country of Judea was in revolt, and he became as furious as a wild animal. So he left Egypt and took Jerusalem by storm, giving his men orders to cut down without mercy everyone they met and to slaughter anyone they found hiding in the houses. They murdered everyone, men and women, boys and girls, even babies were butchered. 3 days later, Jerusalem had lost 80,000 people, 40,000 killed in the attack, and at least that many taken away to be sold as slaves. You're going to pay for that. Now, what's going on over there now? They bombing, killing mainly women and children over there in Palestine. That's how these Edomites get down. The Lord is revealing the sons of perdition. You going down here. Edomite, hey, you finna go down, Esau. Hold up, though. I want to get to this, though. This right here was pretty funny. Ho. Let me get this point for you, Israel. This for us. 2 Maccabees 6 and 14. The Lord does not treat us as he does other nations. He waits patiently until they have become deeply involved in sin before he punishes them. Meaning, like the Edomites, your iniquities have reached to heaven. You got thousands of years worth of punishment to pay for, boy. Thousands of years of wickedness. Lord's gonna whoop, boy, he finna judge the shit out of y'all. But he punishes, 15. But he punishes us before we have sinned too much. So the Lord is always merciful to us, his own people. Although he punishes us with disasters, he never abandons us. Okay? Remember that, Israel. Even though we going through hell and we got afflictions on us, it's because we broke that covenant. But he ain't gonna never abandon us. And what you finna see him witness him do to the rest of these nations, you gonna be glad as a motherfucker that you are Israelite. Hold on. Hold up, it's right here. I'm trying to find it. What was it at? Shalaki. Hold on, it's right here. I'm just trying to get an example of when the angels was on the scene and helped us out. They kept making treaties with us. I'm just typing the name in. Hold on. AGLO. I think I'm messing up his name. Nah, it ain't. Hold up, Israel. I'm trying to pull this up. Let me see. Did I write it down? No, I didn't write it down. But I got another one I wrote down with a point. Salaki. 10. Let's go to second Esdras 10. Hold on. It might be in here. Yeah. Because this is how these Edomites see it to this day. Now, let's go to 2 Maccabees 10 and 14. Judas Maccabees defeats the Idumeans, right? They ain't nothing but the modern day, Greek way of saying Edom. So it's just like saying Judas defeats the Edomites. When Gorgias became governor of Idumea, he kept a force of mercenaries and attacked the Jews at every opportunity. Do they not do this to this day? Anytime you see some, when you look at the black massacres, anytime we got something going on, Rosewood, Black Wall Street, Central Park, in New York, right? They fuck it up for us. 2 Maccabees 10 and 15. Not only this, but the Idumeans themselves controlled certain strategic fortresses and were constantly harassing the Jews, the niggas. They welcomed those who fled from Jerusalem and did everything they could to keep the country in a perpetual state of war. I mean, they try to keep us divided. Same thing they do now, to this day. 1/3 against you 2/3. Oh, yeah. They're going to win inches right there. Right? They're going to inches when the angels come through and help us. Like I say. As it is written. Whoever called on the name of the Lord, he ain't helping, right? Judas always prayed before he got into a battle. Right? So I'm going to go down to 10 and 30. I start at 29. When the fighting was at its worst, the enemy saw fight. Hold on. I'm starting at 28 so we can get a little more. At daybreak, the two armies joined in battle. The Jewish forces, meaning us, the Jews' forces depended upon their bravery and their trust in the Lord for victory, while the enemy relied on their ability to fight fiercely. When the fighting was at its worst, the enemy saw 5 handsome men riding on horses with gold girdles and leading the Jewish forces, meaning our forces, the Jews. These 5 men surrounded Judas, protecting him with their own armor and showering the enemy with arrows and thunderbolts. The enemy forces then became so confused and bewildered that they broke ranks and the Jews cut them to pieces. Right? We serve the mighty, mighty, most high power Yahweh. As we read in the book of Daniel, he ruleth in the kingdom of men. He is our power and our power alone. And he messed them folks up. He got angels, sent angels down. Hold on. I'm going to get to the one where them angels fucked up hell first. Like oh. It was a dude. It had to have been when what's his name out? What's his name? Apple on it. Hold up. Hold on. It was an unusually strong man. It was a strong man. Hold up, Israel. I'm trying to find this one verse I want to get to. Then I'm gonna close out. But you see the point. They've been messing us over. Damn, I messed it up. Hold on. Let's see. There it is. Now, Heliodoros, let's go to Second Maccabees, 3rd chapter. I'm going to start at the 22nd verse. I'm just bringing this out, Israel, for a point to let you know the power of the Lord. While everyone was begging the Lord Almighty to protect the money that had been entrusted to his care, Heliodoros went on with his plan. So he was trying to rob the temple. Heliodoros was. But at the very moment that 3 and 24. But at the very moment that he and his bodyguards arrived at the treasury, the Lord of all supernatural powers caused such a vision to appear that everyone who had dared to enter with Heliodoros was panic-stricken and weak with fear at the display of the Lord's power. I'm going to continue. In the vision, they saw a horse and a rider. The horse had a richly decorated bridle, and its rider, dressed in gold armor, was frightening. Suddenly, the horse rushed at Heliodoros, then reared up and struck him. Then reared up and struck at him with his hooves. Now here go the point. 2 Maccabees 3 and 26. Helidorus also saw two unusually strong and handsome young men wearing very fine clothes. They stood on either side of him and beat him unmercifully. He immediately fell to the ground unconscious, and his men put him on a stretcher and carried him out. Only a moment earlier, this man had entered the treasury with a large group of men, including all of his bodyguards, but now he was being carried away helpless. So they all openly acknowledged the mighty power of the Most High Power. Yeah, the doors got fucked up. So all you gotta do is just think, Jake, especially when we get to living waste, boy, we get pumped up. Way bigger than other nations. Beat the brakes off his ass. Yeah. We serve a mighty power. He's long suffering. He finna come back and get these boys for what they done did to us. Right? So we just read in Joel. He finna bring everybody over there just for the controversy of Zion. Everything finna, he finna turn everything back right. Let's see. What else do we need? What else do we need? We don't need nothing else with that besides, you see how I say we got enemies, Israel. The Edomites, number one. Ecclesiastes 10. Let's get, oh, dang, I forgot I can't. Let me get it on my phone. Shalaki. I'm going to read 2 out of Ecclesiastes. We're going to get about her. Ecclesiastes 10 and 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The Most High Power finna take down this unwise king. Right? He finna take down Nero Trump. Why? Because of Ecclesiastes 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings they've been doing since when they take over, they just unrighteous, man. They wicked. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Right? They finna lose their kingdom. And the Lord finna give it to who? Us. The Israelites. And we're gonna reign forever. So, Ecclesiastes 12 and 6. For the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance to the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. So the Edomites, they getting reserved, man, for the day of vengeance, for when the Lord will recompense all the other nations for the controversy of Zion. Let's drop down to 10. This for us, Israel, to keep us in remembrance. The 1/3, not the 2/3. 2/3 love they fucking enemies. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching. When you read the book of Maccabees, first and second Maccabees, the Lord when the Maccabees was whooping their ass, they kept trying to make treaties. Oh man, we sorry. We're gonna let y'all do what y'all want to do. And then as soon as they make a treaty, they go against it. Same thing they doing now. They trying to break the treaty they got, the ceasefire deal they got with the Palestinians. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, which is what they do, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou, at the last, remember my words and be pricked therewith. What's an example of that? How the Hasmonean Dynasty got established. When they tried to infiltrate the Hasmonean Dynasty, by marrying one of the women. But these old fickle ass witches, I just love anybody, whatever, witch. But guess what, Israel? The Lord is working his work. I just did this lesson just to show you the correlation between what's going on now on the present earth with these Edomites trying to take over people's shit and displacing other people, to see how we were scattered, how the Lord scattered us. The Lord allows all these things to happen from the right and left hand side. So guess what, Israel? We one day closer to the kingdom. Shalom.